You have to live in this world for a particular time period. Thus, the precious time need to be spent intelligently. Don't get attached or involve yourself in useless things. Everything here is temporary and subject to change. Nothing is permanent. People older to you soon will be hanging on walls in photographs. Don't give space to stray thoughts in your mind like after death every poor will get birth in rich families and vice versa. This life is for enjoyment, etc. Thought is a phenomenon arising due to memory and ego. Memory is fed from environment through perception. Ego is induced from mind through false identification. The thinker, on the basis of memory and ego, contemplate on thought and its products. Ego is perpendicular to wisdom. Memory, natural controller, ego, and thinker all are different faculties of mind. Thought is the hypotenuse of memory and ego, and its direction fluctuates between memory and ego. The parameter of thought is twice the distance between memory and ego, and its working area is memory multiplied by ego. Inputs to the body are provided by ear, eyes, nose, mouth, and skin, whereas output comes from tongue, that is talk and licking, hands, that is grasping, legs, moving, anus for defecation, mouth, spitting and vomiting, and genitals, reproduction and urination. Mind constitutes of five things: thinker, one who compare, plan, and conclude; memory, that is storage of input data; natural controller, that is natural processor and controller; ego is I; and fifth is the background, who sees the thinker, memory, natural controller, and ego. Mind is the most important entity to be understood, as it is the connection between body and the eternal. When one sees the seer, seeing and seen, the eternal flows through mind. This happens when the background is illuminated. Illumination happens when the mind operates under vigilance mode. Mind operates under vigilance mode when there is awakening. Awakening happens when you see. In awakening situation, the phenomenon of mind is seen. For this, you need the eyes of wisdom. Wisdom comes when ignorance is seen. We see towards other fat people. Do we ever look upon ourselves, how overweight we are? No, because to look upon oneself, we need internal eyes, not those physical eyes by which we look outside. We have those eyes by which we can see, but right now they are covered by ignorance. Just burn those drapes of ignorance so that you can see. Else keep dancing to the tunes of pleasure, whose result you already know. To know eternal, you have to be wise. The phenomenon of mind is to see outside, as ego is under threat from outside, not from inside. Ego is solely dependent on outside influences and rides these influences. These outer influences keep nourishing the ego. The more is the identification with the outer, stronger the ego becomes. Ego will do its best that the mind does not turn inward, because the day mind turns inwards, the drama of ego will be exposed. Usually, the ego keeps mind engaged in self satisfaction. The creator of the urge and the who looks for the satisfaction of urge is ego only. It is a vicious circle, and once caught in it, you can never start your inner journey. Ego activates Ego activities need to be seen very clearly. For trying to curb ego is ego only. So long outer is influencing the ego, you cannot move further. But the day you see this, then you have already taken the first step. Ego will get weak, and if you continue to see, a time will come that its regime will be over and you will be freed from its clutches. At any stage of life, if you feel irritated, angry, scared, insecure, or attached, it is the proof that ego is in command. Whatever justification or explanation you give is the work of ego. Ego has colored the thinker in its favor. If the mind constantly demands pleasure or is greedy, then it is the game of memory and ego. If you cannot see the causes, then at least try to see the effect, because effect is nothing but the end product of cause only. If I put a pot of milk on fire, then milk will boil. I can determine that it is on fire by seeing milk boiling. By reasoning, you can see the cause behind the effect. Many people in the world put blind faith without reason in their guru, anticipating the guru will act as a savior. These kinds of people just waste their time and spread blind faith in society. The guru operates on theory of probability. Out of all the disciples, half will have the feeling that whatever the guru says is right, and for the other half, predictions of guru will fail. The first half, whose prediction turned positive, will spread the same in society, inviting new disciples. The second half, whose prediction failed, will be told to be patient and will be given the example of those whose prediction turned positive. Few disciples will leave and many will join. Like this, the commune will spread, and so the name of the Guruji.